So everybody's scared of something, right? This is a funny video because this is about the militias and these white guy militias, like the people that stormed the Capitol. When I was watching that, the January 6th, I was looking at the crowd. I'm like, God, I see a whole lot of masculine EPs and some masculine IJs. Those are my guys. Those are my buddies. That's where I came from. That's who I am. This is where I came from. There's my fucking buddy right there. Some fucking masculine ENFP, and you got some fucking IJ. Like, this is where I've come from. This used to be my fear. So this is a weird video for me to do because I can't get enough of like making fun of every other fucking group. They're so fucking crazy and sexist and racist and just insane. And this is my group. M4s, AR-15s, this is all the shit I have. Police scanner, I used to have one of those. Might have been the same goddamn one now that I'm looking at it. Flak jackets, I've got those. Walkie-talkies, belts, tools, pepper spray. This is all my old gear. Now, I've gotten rid of most of it over the time, but this is all my shit. I got a bunch of airsofts that M4. It's a great platform. So most people are going to be like, these guys are the bad guys and these guys are the scary guys, which they are. Let me tell you what it's like inside this world. Because a lot of people are like, I want to be able to talk to these guys. Like, these are actually going to be some of the nicest guys that you ever talk to. Why? Because they're all double-deciders. They're all scared EPs and IJs. So they're actually very, very friendly. You know, as long as you don't fucking piss them off, right? And a lot of them seem to have, like, the sheepdog gene. They all talk about that. And that's how they describe themselves, is that a lot of them are cops or ex-cops or military or ex-military, and they all have a drive to protect their own and stand up. And they kind of got the warrior gene, the cop gene. But the thing is, they're single observers, so they're just all fucked off with the information. And god damn, do they feed on fear. And they really get themselves scared, and they play what I see everybody in the forums doing, the fucking telephone game. God damn, I didn't realize how bad that was. Like, just not actually looking into the research, not really going, all right, what's really going on? What's Barack Obama really doing? What's Bill Gates really doing? What they'll just get the articles. This is what I used to do. Just get articles or documentaries out of context and just fucking run with it. And it's a hard practice to get the scientific method to where you can get the information balanced, so you can get predictability. Everybody checks out. I don't need predictability. That's what that outside objective world shit. That's living in the real world shit. I don't need to live in the real world. Let somebody else do that. That's hard. That's boring. That's repetitive. That's accountable. No, I live in this. I live in my little brain mush. I just get random things like everybody else of my type does, cram random observations together like everybody else of my type does, makes the same slam down decisions like everybody of my type also does exactly, identically. I'm a fucking meme, but I also have a gene that says I can't see that, so lucky me. And then I just run off the same fucking cliff everyone else of my type. Look, we all got the same fucking camel pants. What a coincidence. So then these guys are all geared up for the end of the world, and it's like, you're missing it. And that's why it's like there's always prophecies, you know? It's going to be the next election, and then the world's going to end. It's going to be Barack Obama's birthday, and then the world's going to end. It's going to be when Trump, and then the world's going to end. It's going to be when the AI and the Chinese, and then the world's going to end. There's always another world's going to end. So let me play some clips here of some of these right-wing supremacist guys. So rather than having the usual response of looking like this at them, because remember, that's what they're doing. They're looking at everybody else. They're looking at your group like this. They're looking at you like you hate America. Like you want the country to, that's how they look at you, right? That's how they look at us, and maybe not me, you know, because they're like, hey, that guy, I don't think he's a masculine observer. He's one of our guys. I'm like, hey, leave me out of this. But the point is, like, they're doing that, you know? And so you're going to want to watch these guys and be like, ugh, I know. But kind of like, let's see what these guys are really going through. Because what I see when I really watch these guys is I see a bunch of scared kids. Bunch of scared kids that are afraid of the Illuminati. They're afraid of somebody stole my cheese. They're afraid of a bait and switch. They're afraid of a very complicated world where the S and the N is something they can't track. So it just feels like, as an observer, you feel like you're trapped in a clown show. You feel like you're trapped in a magic show. And I went to work on my finances and they changed it. I went to work at the bank and they changed it. Like, fuck, I can't deal with it. And you got all this masculine energy and you want to protect your family and you want to fight something, but you don't know what to do.
I just got off of work. I'm a paralegal. And do bankruptcies. Pretty cool job, get to help out a lot of people using my wits, my legal jurisprudence. It's the same group of people that are basically Antifa members themselves, or basically BLM members themselves. They're just occupying higher office, and they're getting their foot soldiers to do all the dirty work, but they're all, fighting for the same cause, the same, bullshit belief that everything Southern, everything Confederate, has to be removed because it's associated with slavery. It's ignorant, it's fascist, and it's straight up terrorism is what it is. It's straight up terrorism for a group of people to go out and destroy property and injure people, on any side of the spectrum. But again, the bigger portion of that lies with the alt-left and these marches that I've been seeing across the country.
It's just the racism gene. It's like as soon as you have a disagreement with somebody, you have to turn them into a monster. They're the alt left. They're terrorists. You're like, look, it's just some old lady that doesn't like the statue anymore. It's a bunch of scared fucking blue-haired kids that are like, your statue's racist. Tear it down. Like, you know, like really, are these fucking blue-haired kids? Are they terrorists? The alt left? Are they like go talk to them, right? Cassie J, like go talk to them. Go talk to them. And then they're like, they're just as scared as you are. They're just as fucking dumb and idiotic as you are. They're just as blame the other team as you are. Like, where is the monster? Like, you go to investigate these guys. There's no monster here with these guys. Watch these clips. There's no monsters. Bunch of scared idiots. And then you go see the other team where the terrorists are. Another bunch of scared idiots.
The country is divided. I mean, looking at it from 30,000 feet, this country is straight up divided. We've never been in this situation, not in my lifetime. But in the end, we're not going to yield. We're not going to back down one iota. And you know, they could take that as, anybody on the planet can take that as a threat, or we'll say it's a promise.
What do you see there? What do you see? I see a scared kid, you know? And what the hell are we talking about? I don't know what type this guy is. I would guess possibly a double masculine, hear me out, INFJ? Like a consume last INFJ. He's got a lot of shove. He's got a lot of things. There's a little weird things I saw about him when I watched the whole documentary, but whatever. He seems to be the kind of the leader of the group. He's more of the IJ guy. He's more of the blaster, the producer, the controller. So I think he's an IJ, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, like, what the hell are we talking about? Yeah, they're going to come and they're going to, wait, can I get some documentation on that? Who exactly are we talking about? What are we talking about? It's something that has really helped me out a lot in my life where people will say stuff, like literally this is one that doesn't get me anymore. You can't get me anymore on this. People are like, yeah, you know, really great for doing the ops with all the bad things people say about it. I'm like, nobody says bad things about it. Like, there's kids that will complain. There's customers that will be upset. There'll be somebody that has a disagreement, most likely a misunderstanding. There'll be people that don't like how we present it at this time. It's just a couple of us here. Like, it'll be different as it gets scale. Like, we're in the, like, what? Like, where are my accusers? Where what? Because what I don't want to do is what this guy's falling for, is you get this hearsay and then you're like, shit, let me get my AK. And you get all like, well, I'm going to fight back. Well, those people that say bad things about Dave and Shannon, those people that say bad things about, like, who? Show me my accusers. Because when I go to find them, it's just some kid on the fucking Facebook group that I actually know and actually like and half the time had over to our house or been on a phone call with them. I'm like, well, they're cool. I mean, I guess what they're saying. I mean, sure, it's kind of an idiot, but okay. So where's the other one? Well, this one over here is really bad. Like, that's just so and so. They're always doing shit. I mean, they do that to everybody. Oh, so where is it? It's just all that. Where is it?
We got new scopes on our rifles. We can't wait to try out. Yeah, see how they work. I realized about a year ago that I was not prepared and I did not feel safe when I was out and about in my own hometown with my 12-year-old. So I began the journey to get my concealed weapons permit, have my husband teach me about firearm safety. And once I got that legal, then I looked for a group of like minds and we're sticking together. And, you know, we're defensive. I mean, that is our first posture. We are not here to start anything, but we are here to defend and protect our families first, my loved ones, anybody that you see wearing a uniform and their family, the dogs that we bring. That is why I'm here.
That's an INTJ lady. I was able to pin her down. We've met ladies like that. And it's like, again, it's like, okay, great. Everybody's for home defense. But it's like literally what I found is, and I used to do this, I used to walk around in defensive posture. Like I'd have shit on my belt or like weapons or whatever. And I just realized the amount of attention that I'm bringing to myself. Like, want to fight? You're going to fight me? And everyone's like, what's your problem, dude? And when I accidentally started to look at statistics, the ST, that's when I'm like, this is kind of silly. And when I look at the double observers, like, yeah, man, you know, be ready. Like, sure, have something in your car or whatever. It's like, but it's like the amount of times that I cause chaos, like the amount of times I like reach my hand in my pocket, like cut myself with my own knife. Like I literally have scars on a couple of my hands from my own knives. Like nobody's ever stabbed me, but I like lost the feeling on this finger for a year and a half because I cut myself so bad with my own knife. And this was my life, just hurting myself or losing money or causing, scaring other people. Never did I ever like save a robbery at 7-Eleven. Never did I have to stand up for us. Not that I won't have to going forward in the future, but I'm like, all right, if I've got to travel and I got to go in some bad neighborhoods or whatever, which I'm going to have to do with my line of work in the future here, should I be fucking sporting a gun on my belt? You know, should I get the cops fucking worried? Like, no, there's other common sense ways of doing it. And again, it's not that I'm against having a gun and all that kind of stuff. I think it's fucking great. It's fucking really great. But it's like, you end up causing what you're trying to prevent.
Patriot movement, the 3%ers, they're always splintering. And they split for a lot of petty reasons. More or less, it's screw this guy, me and my friends are leaving. I came in with this guy, I'm leaving with that guy, and I'm taking 2 or 3 with me. If they break off from me, they basically imitate, what I've done. And for what it's worth, I've probably left behind a lot of, probably 10 different freaking individual groups. And my character has often led to the downfall of 3% security force because I trust people way too much, way too quick.
So a couple of breakdowns there. So one is notice the chain smoking and the alcohol, the guy in the pot belly. So he's consuming a lot, drinking a lot, eating a lot. It's like, this is somebody that is very unsettled. He's got a lot of fear. He's got a lot of unprocessed emotions. So do look for that. Look for drinking, smoking, pot bellies, where they're using food to cope. It's like, you're not dealing with somebody that wants to fight you. You're dealing with somebody who's scared. You're dealing with someone who's trying to self-cope, Like, it's not necessarily your enemy. Now, it may be very aggressive, might be in your face or whatever, might be scaring you or whatever, but like, you can see somebody who has their own fears, right? And then he's trying to deal with the stress. He doesn't know how to fucking deal with it. One thing that's very safe to know, that's why I threw this clip in there, is that the groups splinter. I love evolution. I love how well this has been going on for millions of fucking years. We're not the first goddamn civilization. We're not the first group with crazy groups in it. Don't worry, it does actually sort itself out. Evolution planned ahead. They will splinter. Because when you have a group, this group is a good example, but all the groups do this. When they get so crazy, what's the AOC, the AOC lady, when they get so nutty and so crazy and so intense and so left field or right field or whatever, like by definition, they are subjective crazy asses where they're taking their fears that are kind of legitimate, but mostly just genetic default shit, and they're just cranking it way up, which is why they can get that intensity. They're like, hey guys, the government control, and everyone's like, I have that function, and then they fall for it. But because the double observers are like, and the other team's like, the rest of society is like, I have an immunity there, I'm not gonna fall for that. And so they by definition get marginalized. So when you have an extreme group, they're not gonna take over. And so a lot of times what I've found, my defensive posture against groups like this, as I've been getting older, and when I say like groups like this, like in our own space, whether you're dealing with neighbors or a competition or society or people on the forums or whatever group you feel like is coming after you, wait them out. Just fucking wait them out. The greatest tool I've ever found is like, here you go. What was that? 2 years? See you in 2 years, asshole. And because they're so subjective and so scared and leading with their delusions, nobody can stay with them because, here you go, here's the acid. You will never see them doing objectivity. You will never see them doing accountability. You will never see them using the scientific method. You will never see them do that. Because if they did, Cassie J, they would start to uncover their own shit and be like, God, I'm a little scared. I'm a little imbalanced. I'm a little off here. And then they would end up, mellowing themselves out and then therefore, destroying that problem. So what has to happen is there has to be this build up, break off, build up, break off, build up, break off. Trust me, when you get old enough, you're going to see this all the time.
We don't talk to media because we know that they're going to hack us and make us look like, dumbasses or radicals. No doubt they sensationalized what they saw. So it's kind of weird, I'm nothing, really.
I'm nothing.
I'm just Chris Hill up in the freaking attic, doing my shit on the computer and fucking running around on the weekends, doing target practice. But I guess some people are interested. It's resonating with some people.